Hello, and welcome to the circus. I am your host, Phoenix Electra, and it is Sunday, which means we're going to be doing some stitching. But first, Loki says, I need my snackies. I need my snackies. Isn't it snacky time yet? Let me reach over. Come on. Friskies, we have no sponsors, but if somebody who makes good cat treats wants to come sponsor us, Loki would be very excited. Okay. Let me get some snackies for your sister. Come on, Friffers. Come on. She doesn't like to eat out of my hand. Not like my big bug. Come on, handsome. Oh, give me big hugs and run away. Oh, who's big and fluffy and handsome? Who's big, fluffy, and handsome? Who's fluffy? Are you trying to help yourself to snackies? You helping yourself to snackies? All right, we have had some snackies. All right, let's just stuff that over there. And what? He's so cute. I know, he's like, can I put my tail in your face? Can I put my tail in your face? You're getting your tail in my lippy stick. Okay. The audience can't see my projects that I've been working on because you're being silly. You're being silly. So what? We're going to set that aside to try for later. I know we might. At the end, we're going to have to do a microphone check because we got this new one. I attempted to try it. That video was a flop, because my connection with my streaming software, wave.video.com, affiliate link in the description. So, Loki, you've got fluff all over my face. If you want to support this channel a little bit, please hit the affiliate link so that you can support us. But I have been getting cat fur all over my face using this pattern to crochet some insertion lace for my combinations, because who needs outerwear when you are obsessively making underwear? And here's what we have so far. So it is coming along nicely. I need another few inches for the back to make sure that it's long enough. Set those pins aside. And take my sweater off. I am like, it's literally too hot. Excuse me. Too cold. And I cannot state regulate to save the life of me. It is the end of October, and I've seen twice in the past couple of days. We should be getting emergency weather reports for freeze and frost warnings, but instead of those normal things, I've seen 2 red flag warnings, which means for folks who don't live where fire is a season, red flag means it's windy and dry and increased risk of fire. It's the middle end of October. We shouldn't be dealing with fire anymore. Controlled burns, fine, whatever. But like wildfires? So that piece is going to fit into the back of in the back here in my shirt in the top section. And been slowly but surely, let's turn this right side out so you can get a look at this beauteousness. Here's the front of the bottom of the combination. So I've been sewing, separating and sewing all the, getting the insertion lace so you can see it. Did I accidentally slice through one chunk of the lace and I'm going to have to do a little mending? Yeah, maybe. But do have to say one little 3/4 of an inch snippet in all of the lace that I've cut so far not being the worst thing to happen? Also true. And also because I have been hand back stitching down the bias tape for my tiered skirt petticoat thing. So since that's where my favorite needle of choice is right now, I guess we'll start with this. And let's get our notes. There's so much shenanigans. Should we? Okay. Hold on here. I need a sip of breath. And is my broth literally a ramen broth packet without the noodles? Yes. Why? Because we made pho last week, chicken pho, and I love it. And all I want to do right now is have broth. Because it is that time of the year. I'm thirsty. I don't always love plain water. But I like things with flavor. But since I'm not going to be able to do this and stitch at the same time, let's do a little dramatic reading from the Information Weekend edition. And this spectacular piece of journalistic work is by the Jessica Lucas. I've not had a chance to delve into them, but let's just listen to this article because I found it spectacular. I'm not even sure what the title of this is, but maybe it's... It starts off, let's look at this great picture. Yes, is that Christopher Boozy with a flamethrower? You would be correct. Sometimes you've got to fight fire with fire. A vigilante coder goes to war against misinformation. The founder of Bot Sentinel is willing to be doxxed, harassed, and threatened to rid social media of bad actors. For the people closest to Christopher Boozy, like his wife Jennifer, the battles he wages against trolls online can be both captivating and devastating to watch. It's fun when he mops the floor with them, she said. I'm really proud. I'm like, yeah, get them. But it's stressful, especially when they put out your address and all this other information. Anybody else probably would have had a breakdown by now, but he's strong. He can take it. Boozy is the founder and director behind the 4-year-old anti-hate research organization Bot Sentinel. Do they keep changing what this is supposed to be? Like, I feel like what this company does changes like every week. But let's get back to this stellar piece because there's only one more paragraph that I have access to. Join now to read the full story. Oh, it gets worse. Oh, God. For him, the back and forth with online haters, the regular smear campaigns and doxing, even the police showing up at his front door, all of it comes with the job. It's impossible to completely stop the targeted attacks. It's just the nature of the internet, he said. But we're not doing the bare minimum right now. It's completely out of control. If the platforms actually enforced their own rules, we'd be better off. But they have no incentive to do that. And it looks like there's more to this article, but the top of that was so horrendous. I don't even want to give them the click to finish, partly because I've read this 3 times and it makes me sick every time. It just, oh my God. And to see, oh, I didn't tag his channel in the description downstairs yet, but Eric Hunley over at Eric Hunley, Eric and Nate, Laid Back News, America's Untold Stories. I think that's all of his channels. I might have forgotten one because Hunley is a beast. Has had interviews with, I'm going to forget everybody's names, but is doing an ongoing series. And I think there's at least 4, maybe 5 so far, content creators who were on the opposite side of Boozy's fine handiwork and have had their channels either taken down, copyright struck, this, that, and the other thing. It just, he's, I can't even. It makes me so crazy. And it just seems so ridiculous. So, yeah, that, I don't even, I'm so verklempt and irritated. I don't even have words because it's so crazy. But since I'm having to deal with this knot, and before I get distracted completely, I need to have a quick shout out to everybody who is watching my replays over on the Rumbles. You're awesome. Thank you to the 22 people who follow me over there. If we can get another 88 so I can get my 100 subscribers on Rumble, we will also be live streaming to Rumble, but I'm cheap and don't feel like paying $10 a month to stream to another service right now. So please, you other great 88 people who stop by for this random shenanigan circus show, you are great. And also the 201 people who took the time to like my videos, you are so appreciated. I comparatively am crushing it over on Rumble, and I'm stuck at 12 subscribers over on the YouTubes. But we do have more than 1,000 views of our content there, so that is not shenanigans of nothingness. But yeah, so thank you, folks. I appreciate you. I'm just trying to be like all the other cool kids and diversify my content platforms, because as we've seen this week with the mass striking campaigns for whatever reason that have affected Rakeda, Robert Gouvier, the Ask Mortician, is it Nerdotic? It's there's been a number of creators who've had weird strikes against their channels this week. I just tried to stab through my finger. Porcupine. So I don't know, but I did find Nick Rekeda's interview conversation this week with Viva Fry from a couple of days ago. that's now the full stream is on the YouTube or on the Rumbles to be very informative, partly to understand how YouTube works, to learn from how to just work this grift from other creators who've been doing this for a longer period of time. And just to hear information from the horse's mouth. And as you can see from the thumbnail, I'm not going to actually get into the shenanigans between Legal Bites and Ricada because I don't dislike their content. They're not my favorite LawTube creator. And I know Ricada adamantly is like, I'm not in LawTube. And fair, because groups of people start infighting, and that gets us to the divided we fall, but if we can stand together on the important issues, the united we stand. And I think there was a time for unity because, as the title says, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And if you don't get the joke, Alita is there with Ricada, excuse me, but YouTube is in the middle of both of them. And I think Ricada would agree, though he doesn't need me to stand up for him, and I'm not. He's his own adult human with his own ability to grift, like the grifting champ he is. The real enemy here is YouTube. It's not people who kind of like each other and grew from each other and because of each other. That's not where the fighting should be happening. And yeah, that's just weird. And I get it. That seems to be her typical like CYA stuff. Should Drex have like tried to find a picture of her husband? Yeah, maybe not. Do I maybe believe he have to take into consideration what Robert Barnes says, that he might work for one of these alphabet agencies? That is something to contemplate. That's something to think about, and maybe he does. But that's a their problem, not a me problem. And yeah, so that's... Drex didn't need to call out her husband. Who cares? He's not a public figure, and whether us who stream on the YouTubes to, well, me to literally hardly anybody, basically nobody, because I'm a nobody influencer. Am I a public figure? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. Do I have like a brick and mortar place that I do business and with publicly available information? Yeah, I do. But there is that. Oh my gosh. Was so awake and psyched yesterday for my Saturday sewing lessons. And then I didn't sleep last night. It was terrible. The first night since I've been back where it was really like, I'm falling back into my bizarre insomniac ways. And I was not very pleased about that. But I still was like, I need to show up for y'all today. Because also, the kvetching about Alex Jones, like him, you don't like him, that isn't really the issue. It's that, in my humble opinion of a nobody who has not got a professional degree as a lawyer, do have a very expensive brain with a professional degree, postgraduate degree. that we can maybe talk about at another time. But I do believe that justice is there to protect not so much the people that we like, but really for the people that we don't like, that push our buttons, that irritate us. Kind of similar to Darrell Brooks, who quite obviously, like, did the things he's being accused of, but he has constitutional rights just like everybody else. And he has the right to carry on the way he is, even though it looks terrible. And makes the lawyers look like they want to cry with his grounds, and fallacies of legal arguments. But we have these protections for the people we don't like, more so, I think, than the people we do like. And it sucks not that it doesn't suck, actually. It's a beautiful system. And I don't know where else I was going with that. But yeah, we're just rambling to nobody today. Did I go through all my talking points already? Oh, no. I've got another funny story. To actually piggyback. Ooh. that was a funny segue. But it kind of works. To piggyback on Sydney Watson's experience from this week, last week, recently in the past, that she talked about, live tweeted about, and then got lambasted about. So she shared in her tweets that her experience from her flight from New York back to the Dallas metro area, where she was squished literally like a sardine into a tin between these two individuals who, she said later, which makes the story even worse in some ways, were siblings. So they bought their plane tickets, theoretically, likely, at the same time, so they could sit in the same row together. And if they were so big that they couldn't literally fit next to each other in the seat, maybe you should have bought the middle seat and not expected some poor, unfortunate soul to be squished between the two of you. I also had a similar experience, saw the exact same experience with a slightly different ending, but flying from Seattle to Chicago, because that was the only 3-in-a-row seat, because that was the longest flights that we were on. Saw these two ladies who were sitting. One was in the window seat, and the other one is in the wild seat. Yeah, the aisle seat. And this young man, I don't know, when you're of a certain age, everybody looks like we'll just call everybody young, had bought the middle seat. He would not have fit. He wasn't a huge guy, but he wasn't a child. He was like average size. I mean, actually, he was below average. He wasn't packing any extra flabbiness. He looked healthy, maybe even a little muscly. There was literally one empty seat on that entire plane. It was filled. It was overfilled practically. So fortunately, this guy was able to move up a row and not have to be squished between these two humans who, come to find out based on their joking and cohorting, they knew each other. They knew they were going to be on this flight together. They knew that they couldn't sit literally next to each other because they weren't going to fit. And they didn't take the respect that poor, unfortunate human who would have been literally squished in between them. It made me so mad. And then to see Sydney being called a fat shamer for commenting on her experience, like, no. Honestly, I'll say it. I called them McMuffins. I called it a McMuffin convention. I did. Does that make me a horrible person? Maybe. Do I also deal with feelings with horrible sarcasm, parody, and laughter instead of curled up in the corner crying? The answer would be yes. 100% yes. Because I don't have enough moisture to cry that much, but I do have enough dark humor to laugh until I wet my pants on a regular basis. Oh, I couldn't believe it that people were making fun of her. Like, no, if you know you can't fit, just get the seat. And airline companies, just enforce your policies of if people need seatbelt extenders, they should have bought for an extra seat. On the last flight home, no, it was from Buffalo to Chicago because it was also the only 3 in a row seat. This individual, I got the aisle and the middle seats because I don't like to be trapped. I need access, and sometimes I have to pee regularly. So I don't like to disturb people by getting up every 20 minutes if I have to pee. And this human was supposed to sit in the middle in the window seat. They weren't going to fit. And fortunately, the flight was there was enough seats that they managed to get an entire row all to their lonesomes. But heaven forbid, that would have been like our other flights. And they were forced to sit in the seat that they actually purchased. And airline companies, why do you have these? You like pay for your seat, but then if you want some of these like XYZ seats, you charge extra money. What the fuck? Why? Why do that? I already paid $900 for these tickets. Why am I being charged extra if I want to choose these like special seats? What makes them special? Still in cattle class. I'm still, ugh. I need a sip of broth. It's making me aggravated. Worst part, my broth is almost gone. So, Sydney, I feel you. I hear your pain. I have my own like body dysmorphia image issues and not feeling good in my skin all the time. But actually, one of the weird things about this past flying experience, I almost believed, was able to wrap my head around that like I'm below average and I'm almost skinny. I won't say I'm skinny. I don't have a six pack. I can't lift as much as I want, but I'm not. Blah 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 blah. You can't complain about the goals that you have that you're not working towards. So, if I'm not doing my work, I'm not going to complain about my lack of results. But, I couldn't believe it. And that Sydney's experience was on American, and that was also one of the plane airline companies I had to interface with during my travels. It was almost too much. if I was in the cesspool that is Twitter, I would have commented, because literally days before, I'd witnessed that exact same experience. Oh, okay. But, yeah. Crazy. Craziness, I say. It was just weird. Too weird. Mm-hmm. It's been so much fun, but nobody's watching. Nobody's paying attention to me. My human's not even checked in to make sure my sound is okay. Poor unfortunate soul. Mm-hmm. Another spool empty. Oh, this stream has been super excited. I spent half the time drinking my cup of broth. But, yup. Pardon me, folks. Should we... I've got so many threads to trim. Oh, man. Have I kvetched enough for one day? I don't have any viewers, though. All right. Well, nobody's paying attention to me. I've done my kvetching. I'm probably going to do some extra sewing in a little bit. Maybe take a nap. Don't laugh at others unless you laughed at yourself today. And don't wait tomorrow. Do not wait until tomorrow when you can be fabulous today. All right, bye.